Lamau! Ha! Just bought Doritos. Lamau! Lamau!
Hey guys, bringing you an updated guide for the Unholy Death Knight today for 5.3. We're going to be crossing mostly in this guide talents and glyphs, as they are your essentials you need to understand before you can progress to more advanced advice. We're also going to be crossing things more about combat and things like that. I'm not going to so there's a right now you can see links to other guides, my other in-depth guides I've released. You can open them now. They'll open in a new tab, so you can just click that and it'll open in a new tab, and then you continue watching this video, and then once this video is finished, go to that new tab and watch my in-depth guide. Okay, so let's open the talent menu and let's have a look. Okay, the first here we have three. Well, obviously we always have three options: Rolling Blood, Plague Leech, and Unholy Blight. Alright, I always go for Rolling Blood for this option, because it's much better to spread your diseases, and spreading diseases is good. It's a good thing to do. You know, even in arena, if you're spreading them to 3 targets, if you can possibly spread it to 3 targets, then it's good, because the diseases do a lot of damage. But it's mostly helpful for rated battlegrounds because you can spread your diseases to like many players, and it's very hard to out heal. I don't know what, I think it's about 5k DPS dots alone. I've tested it, and you know it's kind of hard to heal that when it's going across about 10 people. The other option, Plague Leech, it's more of a raiding kind of glyph because it dispels your diseases for an extra rune. I don't really like that because your diseases are a really good source of damage. You really don't want to be dispelling your diseases. Unholy Blight, I don't like that much. Very long cooldown, and I don't think it's that helpful really, because Rolling Blood is much more effective, to be honest, because you know you do that as much when you do Blood Boils, and when you do Blood Boils you turn your blood runes into death runes, which is also very helpful because we need death runes for necrotic strikes, which I'll talk about later. Right, the second tier. By the way, before I continue, the talents I have now, I'm not religiously using for every single situation. I adapt my talents for different situations, and that's something you should do. And I'll explain which situations you should do different talents for. Lichborne is the most effective heal because if you have full runic power and a sudden doom proc, you can actually heal yourself to full health. It's a really good self heal. Only disadvantage of this is that if an intelligent arena enemy notices that you've popped Lichborne, then they can use certain abilities like Turn Evil and Shackle Undead, which is kind of really irritating. One thing to also to mention is death coil damage is determined by the amount of strength you have, but it's the healing done by death coil when you use this lichborne and start doing death coils on yourself is also determined by the amount of strength you have. So the more strength you have, the more healing you're going to get, and you can get a good deal amount of healing when your strength procs have all popped. Anti-magic zone, I'm not finding this helpful in any situation whatsoever. Very short, long cooldown. You might find it helpful. It's more of a raiding thing, as yeah, definitely more of a raiding kind of talent. Purgatory is a kind of a flag carrier talent, but you might find this useful in the rated battlegrounds because it does keep you alive for a tiny bit longer. Now, the third tier is the most flexible tier. I will use all these 3 talents in different situations. Maybe not Chillbanes anymore as of 5.3 because you no longer get Silver Shroud Mines in rated battleground, as far as I know. Death's Advance basically has a passive effect that you never get below 70% of your normal movement speed, which is quite helpful. It's not just good for kiting people; it is also good for catching up to people when they're kiting you, and that's why I think it's so helpful, especially when you actually. Well, this stacks with Unholy Presence. When you have Unholy Presence popped, you're passively moving. Let's just check this. 100. Oh, that's not right. Oh yeah, because I'm not in Death's Advance. You will be passively moving 125% of your movement speed, so that's 25% extra passively over time, which is very helpful. And when it's popped, you're going out to about 160%, which is also very helpful. So it's a really good talent, talent for getting around arenas for speed. Asphyxiate is the also a really good talent because it's very short cooldown now. and it's much better than the silence because it's an actual stun. It is really good because it's like a 5-second stun. It's really good to just to stun somebody and then get to them and start doing your pressure. I find it very helpful in rated battlegrounds. I grip a druid, I stun the druid, I call a beam on the druid. They can't move out of the beam very easily with displacer beasts or whatever they use, and we get some kills. And I could say it's very, very, very good talent, especially against melee cleaves. Chillbanes is good for slowing people down. I used this in Silver Shard Mines. I just got Frost Fever, spread slows all over the whole raid, slowed people down and it really helped us get captured in the minecarts. Helpful talent, more of a Frostbeck kind of thing though, because you're using Chin Device a bit more. Right, the next one, the next tier, the only options really to have is Death Pact or Conversion. Death Pact's a really good heal because it's instant and it's 50% of your health. Relatively good cooldown. I find Death Pact very, very helpful. Only problem is it kind of damages your pet, but if nobody's attacking your pet at the time, then it's, you know, you don't need to worry about that. Conversion is more of a sustained heal. It's like an infinite heal, which is why it's so quite helpful. Before I think 5.2, it did really burn out your runic power, which burned out your pressure completely. That's why I never really chose it, because it's just like 10 runic power per second. Nah, I'm not having that. But now it's only 5 runic power, but I still think it does affect your runic power. I mean, really, it should, you know, maybe they should have made it a bit more like Second Wind. I'm not really that sure if I like Conversion that much, because runic power is very, very useful for Unholy Death Knight, but you might find use of Conversion. But if you're getting bursted, Conversion ain't going to save you. Death Pact is going to save you, especially if you have a healer with you. The next tier, you only want to go for Blood Tab. That's the only one you want to go for, because it in the long term it gets you much more death runes, and you need death runes. You definitely need death runes, because if you look at my runes right now, I don't have any death runes passively. I need to get death runes for Necrotic Strikes. Necrotic Strikes are the biggest amount of pressure you can as an Unholy Death Knight. They are really, really helpful. Now, next tier, I've been using Gorfine's Grasp because I've just capped in some rated battlegrounds previous to this video, but you won't use that in Arena. Gorfine's Grasp is very helpful in rated battlegrounds because you can grip a load of people to your position, and if you grip a load of people into a solar beam, which is like a mass CC, then everybody is silenced at once. So yeah, nobody's healing, get the killing, you got a small amount of time to get the killing. Very helpful for rated battlegrounds. In fact, you will need it. Your leader will want you to have that, and if you don't have it, you'll be annoyed. Remoreless Winter. Gorfine's Grasp is the reason why Death Knights are so very bloody helpful for rated battlegrounds, including Death Grip. That is why we are kind of required, as well as our amazing damage. Right, Remoreless Winter is awesome against melee cleaves. I've soloed 2 rogues because I had Remoreless Winter. I was able to stun them both. This was in a 3v3. No, it was in 2s. And I think I've done it with 2 warriors as well. It's really good for those melee cleaves, because it's like you cannot avoid Remoreless Winter unless you run away, basically. And if you're running away, you're not doing damage, and that's why it's so bloody helpful. It's a 4-second stun, I think. I don't know. 6 seconds. That's not bad, that is it? It's a really good stun. It just takes a while to actually get ready. We can also use it as a slow, and it's a 1-minute cooldown, so it's not that bad. But my favourite is definitely Desecrated Ground, because you might, this obviously pops you out of any CCs that kind of make you lose control of your character, but it doesn't just do that. As long as you stay in the aura of Desecrated Ground, you will also be prevented from further crowd control. So that's why I like to stay in it as much as possible. Let me just demonstrate this. You see, the effect is here. As long as I stay in this circle, I will not be polymorphed. I will not be hammer stunned or anything. I will just, and that's what I do is, if people like run out of it, I just grip them back. I use Death Grip, and I stay in that Desecrated Ground for as long as possible, basically, because you know it's a great defensive thing to do. Right, let's talk about glyphs briefly. I have, at the moment, rated battleground glyphs. Right, I'll explain why these are good for battlegrounds. Glyphs are pestilence. That's going to spread your diseases further out to people, which is obviously very helpful, because the more diseases you have on people, the better. Anti-magic shell is great if you're getting pressured in a rated battlegrounds, you're most likely going to die pretty quickly because Death Knights are quite squidgy, in fact. So that's why I stack a lot more resilience. Glyph Anti-Magic Shell prevents the magic damage taken by 100% rather than 75%, and up to 50% of your maximum health, so it's kind of like a bubble for 50% of your health. Death Grip, I think it's very helpful to grip people from far away. If people are like trying to escape from me, you know, extra 5 yards could be all what you need, really. I also might go for Death and Decay for an extra or a slow. But in Arena, my favourite glyphs are Glyph for Dark Simulacrum, Glyph of Icy Touch, and Shifting Presences. Right, Glyph for Dark Simulacrum is a great utility because you can steal some really helpful spells from your enemy, and the extra 4 seconds duration with this glyph increases the chance of you actually stealing a spell. But you can steal really good stuff. You can steal like Divine Shield. You can probably find that quite helpful. You can steal Ice Nova, you can steal Polymorph, you can steal Power Ward, you can steal Ice Barrier, you can steal a lot of really cool things. The other day I discovered I can steal a spell that Warlocks have that increases their health by, I don't know, I think it's like 25%. I was just walking around with like 700k health in a rated battleground. I thought that was pretty cool. Very rare that's ever going to happen though, but you never know, that's the thing. Sometimes you steal crap, fair enough, sometimes you get like a fireball and you're like, oh yeah, great. If that's the case, if you steal like a fireball or something, don't bother using it, alright? Just wait until you can steal something really helpful. Okay, Shifting Presences is great because Runic Power is really important as Unholy Death Knight, because it gets your blood taps up, which is going to get you more death runes, and it also gets your Dark Infusions up, which is going to transform your pet into a dark transformation. That's what it's called, isn't it? And basically increase your damage by a lot, and that's why it's important to be death coiling as much as possible. And you do need to shift presences a lot more. If 2 DPS switch to you in freeze, then you know, if you switch to blood presence, you're going to be able to take a lot less damage, because blood presence reduces incoming damage taken by 10%, and increases your armor by 55%, which is also going to reduce quite a lot of damage, and it also increases your stamina, so you can actually heal a lot better. Because heals like Death Packs heal 50% of your health. When you swap into Death Packs, you'll be healing about 220k, whereas in Holy Presence you'll be healing about 200k. So you know, sometimes I switch to Blood Presence and heal, and the heal is going to be more beneficial because I've got more health. So that's why I like Shifting Presences, and also you shift back to Unholy Presence when you're not being pressured to do more damage, because yeah, when you're in Blood Presence, your damage is nerfed quite a bit because you're a lot slower and you don't get sudden doom procs and things like that. But yeah, so you should be switching. You should try to be in Unholy Presence most of the time, especially when you're doing damage. But Blood Presence is very helpful for surviving a lot of damage. What was the other one? Icy Touch. Icy Touch is great for dispels. You can dispel. Well, not dispel. Purge is the right word, isn't it? That's what it does. You can get rid of blessing. Was it Blessing of Protection? Something like that. The Paladin thing that they kind of bubble that they put on other people. That's really good to dispel, especially when that target's like at below 5% health, and then they pop that, and you're like, oh great, now I can't do any damage. If you get the Icy Touch on, it's a very high chance you're going to, very like kind of medium chance you're going to actually dispel it. You can dispel like Ice Barrier, which is very helpful because I think when Ice Barrier is like removed, basically Frost Mage is doing a free Ice Nova whenever it's removed, and you don't want to be in that Ice Nova really. If you it's at range as well, so you can dispel things at range, so you won't get stuck in an Ice Nova. Dispel a Mage's Ice Barrier. That's one example. Power Ward is very helpful to dispel because bloody, I never knew this, but priests can actually cast through their Power Ward and can't get interrupted. I mean, what is that crap? Alright, you really need to dispel Power Ward, dude. It's really good. And as of patch 5.2, when you use Icy Touch, you turn your Frost Rune into a Death Rune, which is extremely helpful. And that is it for glyphs. Now I'm going to go to the target dummies. I'm going to talk about rotation and combat, etc. Okay, well guys, I can't talk about rotation for too long, otherwise this video would get very long. But I'm going to explain principles of how to ensure that you're doing a lot of damage. So first thing to do is you want to save your outbreak. You know, outbreak reapplies diseases, you want to save that until you've got all your strength procs or maybe your trinket, because when you reapply the diseases, then it will benefit from the extra strength, and you know, more disease damage the better. So when I open a fight, I start with Plague Strike, because now that applies both diseases. I probably will also apply Chains of Ice as a slow. The thing I like about Chains of Ice is Festering Strike will increase the duration. See, that's 6 seconds here. When I use Festering Strike, duration is increased. The Chains of Ice duration is increased by Festering Strike. Yes, that is right, which is very, very helpful, as if you're not going for Chillbanes, then you can keep the slow on for as long as you keep Festering Strike. I mean, I've just kept it up, you know, for about 30 seconds here, which is obviously very, very helpful. The key thing to do is to time everything at once. You want to time your procs at the same time you pop your gargoyle, for instance, and you also want to pop your trinkets when your gargoyle is popped, because your gargoyle benefits from your strength stat and your mastery stat now. So the more strength you have, the more damage your gargoyle is going to do. And also your necrotic strikes also benefit from your strength, so the more strength you have, the more health it's going to absorb. Comprende? What I like to do, your Festering Strike, all the runes it uses turns into a death rune. So I have 4 death runes now. If I pop Empire Rune Weapon now, that's 4 death runes in a row. But if I also have 2 blood taps, then that's 6 death runes in a row, right? Obviously, you probably won't be able to manage getting 6 death runes in a row when you're in, you know, the thick of combat. But nevertheless, you can try your best. Because the more necrotics you get out in the shortest amount of time, you're gonna stack a really higher health absorb, and it's going to be hard to out heal it, because it lasts for 10 seconds. Basically, for 10 seconds, that target can't be healed. Alright, if you stack it really well. Imagine what that's like for a healer, especially if you can actually increase that duration by just using 1 necrotic strike after that, when you get excess runic power after bursting all your necrotic strikes. And yeah, important thing also is to remember Dark Transformation. It really does help, because your pet does a hell of a lot of damage. Your pet, if you're bursting a target and you want to kill that target, your pet should be attacking that target, because your pet does a lot of damage on its own. A hell of a lot of damage. It's like 10k DPS on a target dummy on its own. Okay guys, I'm just going to demonstrate the burst here. I'm going to pop Dark Transformation, Gargoyle, Empire Rune Weapon, Necrotic Strike, about 6. What am I stacking now? I'm stacking 455k health absorb on 1 target. That is not determined by resilience, that will be on a PvP target if you manage to pull it off. Here we go, I'm getting 707k. And can I get any more? I can probably get some more. And this, basically, when you've finished your burst, all you've got to do is you keep your necrotic to increase the duration. Because obviously, not right now, it is just run out. And that's it, 760k, 767k gone. So really, you want to keep the necrotic on for as long as possible, right? Because if you use 1, it gets back to a 10-second duration. If it's like at 1 second, still struggling to if a healer is trying to heal out the necrotic strike, and necrotic strike is about 200k health absorb at the minute, being out healed. It's got 1 second left, it ticks off, there you go, the target can be healed again. But if you get 1 more necrotic strike, the duration will go back up to 10 seconds, and there you go, it'll be like a 250k now for an extra 10 seconds. Alright, that 10 seconds of health absorb might just be all you need, especially if you get an asphyxia on the opposite target. Okay guys, that's pretty much all I'm going to cover in this very brief general guide. These are probably your essentials. Remember to check out my other in-depth guides, because they will help you a lot. I've got an in-depth guide, macros, pet control, everything really. Yeah, well, thanks for watching guys. Remember to comment, like and subscribe. Ciao.